You get to do what feels most comfortable for you, but it doesn't have to be expensive, it doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be painful. Hey guys, my name is Rebecca. I am a physician. I have lost 75 pounds now on a whole foods plant-based diet while I am an athlete because I do exercise. It is not trying to kill myself exercise. So, the 5 lies about exercise. Number 1, that it has to be expensive, because we've all heard about astronomical prices of gyms and programs like CrossFit and Orange Theory and a lot of other things that I've never tried. And I do believe that there is like high end, moderate, and low end. So let's take high end. The ones that I can think of, CrossFit, that is up to $250 a month. Orange Theory is up to $279 a month. Then a personal trainer, this could be for like weights. It could be for like drop-in yoga classes, which can evidently go for like $30 a drop-in yoga class. That is just crazy to me. It really all depends. I know of one trainer who charges like $250 a session. Moderate, which I kind of have in like the $25 to $50 a month range. Online, I have Daily Burn, which evidently is like a personal trainer. I think I did them maybe 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. I honestly cannot remember really that much about them. And then there's Peloton, and I'm being very transparent, and I've always said I do Peloton because it is very organized for my brain. That's $50 a month. Daily Burn also $50 a month. And then if you were to go to a physical gym, I was trying to think of like the cheapest that I have seen in my area, realizing that, like I said, I've not been into a gym. Planet Fitness evidently is about $25 a month, anywhere from $15 to $25, depending on whether or not you want to be able to visit more than one site. I think there's Gold's Gym. I did not actually price them out. And then the Y, of course. And I truly do not know what the price of the Y is. I just know that it is typically less expensive than branded physical gyms like Gold's Fitness or Planet Fitness. And then cheap. And honestly, the Y might fit into the cheap category as well. But what I was thinking for in terms of cheap was walking outside or inside. But I was thinking walking outside, either in your neighborhood, if your neighborhood is safe to walk in, or knowing of another place that you could walk, like a school track or something like that. I know that when I was traveling for anesthesia, I actually would go to school tracks and I would walk that way if there was no partnership or anything like that. And honestly, there typically has not been, except for like the hotels. And then I would just go to the hotel in a treadmill there. And then dumbbells. And I just got the ones that I had down here that I could sort of bring to where I'm filming, but 2-pound weights. And then I have a 5. I have a 3-pound set, but they're upstairs because I kind of grew out of them. These I still use for like my lightweight arm classes from Peloton. And this used to be my heavyweight. It's a 5-pounder. It used to be my heavyweight. It is now this is my lightweight now. And then 8s are my mediums and 10s are my heavies right now. But, the other thing too is once you make a decision on this, it doesn't have to be a decision that lasts forever. You could start out by walking and getting a couple of dumbbells, like 2s and 3s, online YouTube classes and things like that. And once you become stronger and more confident with everything, you could work yourself into either a physical gym or an online program or something of that nature. Not all decisions have to last forever. Second lie is that you need a ton of equipment. My major equipment now, I say this with the fact that I do have my own treadmill and bike, and I chose that. But you go to a physical gym, you're gonna have that. But you need a ton of equipment. You could do this with walking shoes and a few dumbbells. That is all you need. Number 3, that it has to be complicated. It doesn't. Honestly, you're probably going to be doing some moves that are a little bit new to you, but they're not going to be hard. Sincerely, classes that I do beginner classes a lot. They're all good fundamental classes, but where I may have started with a 2 weight, I'm now on an 8 weight or a 10 weight. It's still the same movement, just heavier weights. It doesn't have to be complicated. Now, I also say that there are some particular trainers in strength on the Peloton app that I think have more complicated classes than others. And I just avoid those classes. I give them a shot. And sincerely, I might love them on the treadmill. In fact, I can think of one, Manny Majacomo, who I love his treadmill classes. In weights, there are a couple that I'm okay with, but sometimes he can get a little more complicated than he needs to. And so I just avoid those. I might try them once and then I don't bookmark them and I don't go back to them. A lot of times you are doing the absolute same moves. Bicep curls, tricep kickbacks, all that sort of stuff. You're doing them just over and over and over again. You're just maybe increasing reps and increasing weight as you progress. That it has to be painful. I will say there are some times. Yesterday I happened to do a intermediate full body 45-minute class. I knocked myself out a little bit more than normal. But it was with one of the trainers who usually is pretty much straight sets. Felt kind of comfortable in that. Plus you can always preview classes. Today I was a little stiff. It's actually not normal for me. And I will say that most of the time, the only thing I am going to need, even if I had a rough class, is a little Aleve and some Icy Hot. I use Icy Hot maybe once every 2 weeks. Not very often. That you have to do moves that you are not comfortable with. In there, it was jumping. I don't jump. No, we're going to mess up my ankles. It's going to take me out for 2 weeks. Why would I do that? I don't do lunges because I have a balance issue. And so I just translate that into a suitcase squat or even a goblet squat if I want. It's on 2 legs. I have much more stability and I'm still working on my glutes, hamstrings, and quads. There are certain classes that I also do not care for, and every time I give them another chance and I'm like, no, still not doing it. Pilates and kettlebells. I don't know what it is about them, but I just don't like them. And you know what? I don't have to do them. There are too many other options out there. And like I said, I'm not killing myself on this exercise. You don't have to. And you have free choice into what you want to do. All I've got to do, 60 minutes of weights and 60 minutes of cardio. So I hope you got something from this. Just remember that you have free will in all the exercise classes that you do. You get to do what feels most comfortable for you, but it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be painful. Bye guys. I hope you got something from this. We are making good, strong strides on this. So please come along for the ride. I would love to have you here. Bye guys.